r/NoSleep. Everyone died in 2011. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps the channel. So, a little backstory. I'm 46 years old and live in what used to be Tennessee. I grew up in Tennessee, and my parents were hardcore on Catholicism. My dad always said the end times would arrive soon, and because of this, we had a little bunker built out of metal for the apocalypse. So fast forward a couple decades, and my parents eventually both pass away. My mom went peacefully in her sleep, but my dad didn't. He had a seizure and was rushed to the hospital, and the whole time he was screaming about the end times and how everyone would die. The last thing he asked me to do was keep the bunker alive and to stay and make sure it was okay. He died of a stroke later that day. So long story short, I moved back into my childhood home, and it seemed a lot smaller than I remembered. I did what my dad asked, keeping the bunker tidy and well stocked. We had enough food and water for 4 years, and I always thought it was the dumbest thing in the world, but I wanted to respect my dad's wishes, especially since he died so brutally. A few years go by, and I'm still living in my dad's house, still tidying the bunker, still mourning their losses. When one day, on March 15th, 2011, I was eating my cereal and toast when I saw a breaking news headline pop on the TV. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was something about an unknown force causing people to kill everyone around them. I dropped my toast and felt out of breath. My vision tunneled and my heart rate spiked. The scientists on the TV said that some kind of energy beam was shot at us through space, and if you looked at it, you'd go insane. My mind whirled with thoughts. Was my dad right? No, this must have been a prank. But I have no one who knows me well. Who would do this? Why? What is that beam? I decided to heed my dad's advice. I ran downstairs, shutting all my windows and doors, and locked the metal door. I stayed down there for 5 years. I stretched my food rations as much as possible. I never wanted to leave. I hadn't talked to anyone for 5 years either. It made me crazy. It had been 8 days since I ate. I ran out of water the day before I did it. I didn't want to go out, but I also didn't want to starve. So, that's why on April 6th, 2016, I opened that rusty old steel door, and what I saw confused me. Nothing had changed. At least, not immediately. My house looked clean. Cleaner than I imagined. Cleaner than I remembered. No dust or anything. Am I dead? I thought. Is this purgatory or something? I was looking around when I saw something that made my blood curdle. It was my TV, still on. I was so confused. It was playing something about a Mississippi governor signing a controversial religion law. And the weirdest part about it? It wasn't the channel I left it on. I was looking outside, and I almost passed out when I saw the grass. It was like little green spikes all over the place. That's not what grass looks like. Grass is circular, like flowers. They look like little discs, not spikes. Some other things were off as well. Tree bark looked tougher. It hurt to look directly at the sun. The clouds were whiter, rather than the yellowish ones I was used to. Everything seemed a bit off, and just when I thought it couldn't get worse, I walked through the front door. No, not me. Someone else with my body. I stared at them. They didn't see me at first, but they did eventually. We both froze. I ran out of the house. I ran all the way down to the police station to see what was going on. I told them everything, and they asked me to calm down and to follow them into the back. I did, and they sat me down and told me to wait. An hour or so passed, and someone came in who looked like they worked for the government. They asked me tell them my story, so I did. He then explained what happened. On March 16th, 2011, a being above us shot an energy beam at Earth. Almost everyone was obliterated. The remaining few people, who mostly were part of the government, decided to create genetic copies of everyone and put them in a simulation of our world. Everyone who died. The simulation wasn't perfect. It had a few glitches, but it held up. This simulation of us surrounded our normal world, so we couldn't tell the difference. It's a hologram. Now of course, not everyone who survived the explosion liked this plan. Around 200,000 people, in fact. And the higher ups killed them all. Their deaths were blamed by the Syrian civil war inside the simulation. The man I was talking to said he was one of the survivors, simply being transported here temporarily to talk to me. He said that he would have my copy neutralized, and that if I didn't tell anyone about this, I could pretend to be him and live out the rest of my life. But it's not my life. And neither is yours. You're a clone, a copy, of someone who died in 2011. And you stole their life. The real world has curved grass, and yellow clouds, and the sun isn't so bright, and the trees are smoother. And most importantly, the real world has the real you, the dead you. You're an echo of yourself. You won't believe this, I know that, but I want you to do something. The next time you're looking for your phone and it's suddenly in your hand, think, was it really there a second ago? If not, well, you're just proving my point. You don't exist. Nothing does. Not anymore. r/NoSleep. I have been on a train for 5 years. On the 20th of June 2014 I got on a train to go visit my daughter. In my hand is still the toy I bought 5 years ago for her birthday. The train from Stockholm to Kiruna is an 8-hour trip and I took the night train. I got on it at 8 PM and I saw the sunset in the distance about 3 hours later. The sun never rose again. All the passengers are mute, deaf, and silent like statues, just sitting staring calmly into space. They won't respond, they won't even flinch. I'm so hungry and thirsty, you have no idea, but I'm not dying, I think. The train just drives on through the cold, dark blackness. There's no driver. Memory fragments are slowly coming back. Something horrible happened before I stepped on this train. In the forest there are glowing apparitions waving at me. They're faceless. They're dressed in long white cloths with their hoods up. The radio has been out for a while, but it's spitting out white noise. Sometimes you hear music sparkling submerged under the incessant cracking. On the sign where it used to say what station we're on it says make peace with yourself. The passengers are all hurt in some way. Some of them look sick. Others have open wounds either on their wrists or legs. Some of them has marks on their necks, like from a noose. There are 20 passengers left including me. Sometimes one of them disappear. Without warning they just fade into nothing, smiling and looking peaceful. They just waste away. There's a calmness over this train. Like there are no problems anymore. Everything is soothing. Even the apparitions in the forest looks friendly. The train sometimes slows down and other passengers step on. I've been trying to get off but there are just too many getting on. And before I know it the doors are closed again. The first year this was all I did. I just wanted to see my daughter. But I wasn't scared or sad, just calm. I'm dead, right? This is what death feels like. A trip that lasts forever. I don't know what I have to make peace with. I don't know when I will get off the ride. I don't even know if I will get off the ride. I'm forever trapped. This is what'll be my life now. Just loops. The scenery doesn't change. After a week everything is repeated. Like the world is copying itself. I don't know how I'll ever get out of this. I need to figure out what the horrible thing was. Until then I'm locked here. I will probably never understand it fully. But more and more fragments are coming to me. I know there were blood and screaming, but not from what? I'm either a murderer, or I was murdered. I'm dead, so what do I know? I don't matter anymore. I have wounds. Nothing enough to kill me though, I don't think. There's a silent panic inside me which won't speak, because of the weird calmness. I've tried to kill myself. Nothing happens. When my thoughts are peaceful the apparitions are smiling and waving. When they take a dark turn an eeriness is blocking the sky and the apparitions are looking mad and are carrying weapons. The beautiful seas gets filled with blood. This is when my fragments comes back. I'm trying to piece everything together. A lot of blood. A lot. I have marks on my neck. I probably hung myself. Murder suicide? The trees grows kale now. The leaves are falling and burst into flames on the ground. The apparitions catch on fire and they are screaming. My mind is spinning. I feel nauseous and I fall to the floor and start to bleed. Something is crawling inside me. Worms? Flies? Snakes? Fishes? Scorpions? Something. Screaming only make the white noise from the radio grow louder. Crying only makes me bleed even more. I'm trapped forever inside this vacuum of an existence. This shadow of the world. I'm never coming back again. Goodbye. Thanks for sticking till the end lads and ladies, don't forget to like and subscribe.